How can I show my partner that he actually talks more and longer than I do? My partner and I are both in our early mid-30s and have been together for about 7 years now. The issue we have and have had since living together is that my partner has made it clear that he doesn't want to hear me talk. He's expressed feeling that I take too long or that I try to talk with him when he's not in a good space to listen. But my reality has been that I'll pick him up after work, he'll talk to me about his day, going into detail like quoting exactly what he told his employees or how he handled certain situations. He'll talk for 3 or 4 minutes straight while I listen and make small comments here or there, acknowledging I'm hearing him and reacting to his stories. But then if I start trying to share my workday with him, he'll sigh loudly, he'll cut me off to finish my sentence or ask questions trying to get me to essentially hurry up and stop talking. He'll ask me how my day was, and if my response is longer than, "My day was okay," he'll start to seem very irritated. But then when I just stop trying to tell him about my day or my feelings or my thoughts and just accept that I'm just not going to get that from him, he'll start asking me why I'm not talking to him and if we're okay. Or he'll get angry if I haven't told him ahead of time about things I have going on, like meetings at work, or the fact that I had an interview for a promotion. But I'm just tired of him acting like I talk too much all the time. He's even specifically said that I talk for more time than him when we do have conversations, but it's just simply not true. I've tried sharing with him how his reactions and behavior make me feel, but he just does not think he talks as much as he does, or that he doesn't listen or want to listen as much as he does. I'm starting to feel like I need to secretly record all of our interactions and then find some way to compile it all and mark how much he's talking versus me. But that's just not possible. So I'm trying to find some other way to prove to him that I'm not crazy and that he's kinda being rude to me. Like, if you don't want to have a conversation ever and just want someone to listen, just say that. Stop acting like you want to know what's going on with me when you actually don't. What's the point of him being like that? TLDR. I'm trying to figure out how I can make it clear to my partner that he's actually the one who talks for an incredibly long time and that it's rude for him to act so annoyed anytime I try to share anything with him.
You are attempting to address the wrong problem. Problem is not finding a way to convince your partner that he talks more than you do. Your problem is that you have a partner who thinks that what you have to say is not worth listening, like you're going to a mechanic with a flat tire on your car and saying, "The car is making a weird whomp whomp sound when I drive. How do I make it stop making that sound?" Why would you want to be with a person who thinks nothing you have to say is of interest? What value is there in proving that he talks more than you do you honestly think that if you do manage to prove that, he will suddenly think, "Oh, wow, she's right. I do talk more, so now I'm going to pay attention and be interested in the things she says, which I have utterly and disregarded up until this. Get rid of the wub wub sound by replacing the tire not by convincing the tire that it's flat."
In your 30s, why would you want to be with someone who actively dislikes you? Leave that kind of bad relationship in your 20s where it belongs.
The fight about who talks longer is a fight you need to have is the one where you tell him his actions do not reflect respect, or that he values what you to say. He is expressing frustration that he doesn't know what is up with you, but he is also sending you silencing messages when you try to. Doesn't just mean you trying harder to be heard by him, or adapting yourself so you can somehow get through to him. It must also include him making real effort to listen and understand. And yes, that does take work. Work you are naturally putting in when he speaks, work he has probably does naturally with nearly everyone else in his life that he values. Work he also has to put into listening and understanding you. You're never going to prove to him something he doesn't want to believe, because it doesn't reflect the story and the role he's assigned to you. Challenge the story head on. The story of, "My partner doesn't have meaningful things to say," or, "If she just said it the way I wanted to hear it, I'd listen." It may be time to state clearly that the story needs to change, and the behavior needs to change. Or the partnership will have to change in response.
Why do you want to remain in this dynamic?
He sounds exhausting. I'd record him, send him the audio files and then dump him.
I mean, it's possible to record him, sure. You can record your regular interactions over a day, or on multiple random days, then transcribe the voice into Word. There are websites for it. And show him the word count. You can also let him hear himself cut you off or sigh, because he will deny dismissing you if you bring it up, which is when you stop sharing. I also want you to realize how unhinged is a woman in your mid-30s dating a man who doesn't care about you enough to listen to you talk about your day. Your main problem isn't a science experiment.
I had a partner who interrupted me constantly. He thought finishing my sentences for me was just more efficient and demonstrated that he knew me well. He also thought interrupting was fairly normal, that I invited it because of my speaking cadence, or that I had a skewed view of our conversations and I interrupted him just as well. We broke up last summer after 6 years together. I met up with him about 6 months after our breakup, and the one thing that stood out to me is how insecure I still felt when talking to him. I found myself tripping over words and speaking more slowly than I usually do because I was so self-conscious about everything I was saying. Was I speaking clearly enough? Quickly enough? Was I speaking respectably? Was he going to respect me? So, my question to you is, why would you want to be with someone who makes you feel like that?
Let's say you do record all your interactions, tally up the words, and prove that he talks 10 times as much as you do. What then? Do you really think he'll apologize and change? My guess is that he'll get mad at you for rules lawyering, and add how legalistic you are to his daily rants. Dude doesn't like you to talk, because he doesn't care.
Your boyfriend isn't very nice to you, seems to not be a very nice person at all, and I'm not sure he likes you very much. You deserve and can have better.
There is actually a pretty reliable solution that has been used for a couple situations like this in the past. It's only 2 words for him to understand. It's, FR you can do so much better op. Don't stay with an ass just because you've been together for so.
Betcha he will call her crazy for doing it. Op, save the trouble and find a partner who actually respects you. 'Cause he doesn't.
My partner has made it clear that he doesn't want to hear me full stop. That's not your partner.
How do you date someone for 7 years and not realize they don't even like you?
This is the right answer. This will get worse. I don't see how to change the dynamic where one partner simply isn't interested in what the other has to say.
I second this, but with the suggestion of if you want to try to keep the relationship couples counseling, it's probably the way to go. If he already doesn't listen to you, or want to hear you, going to therapy together might reveal things he and you need to work on. Therapy might reveal that he doesn't care for you like you care for him, but rather that he cares about the things you do for him. Granted, we are only getting your side and your perspective, so there may be other issues that are talked about here.
Yeah, I think Op is hoping that objective information will give him some sort of self-insight about how he dominates conversations and doesn't listen to her like she listens to Likely. He'll just be defensive and angry. He'll accuse her of being petty. He'll deny that he sighs and rolls his eyes. Maybe he'll stop talking for so long, for a while, but he probably won't make an effort to listen to her. What combination of words can I say to make someone care about me and be interested in me? I don't know.
FFs. The more you say, the more reasons you are giving to just dump him already. This has been an issue for 7 years. It's not going to get better. Love isn't just a word, it's actions. When words and actions don't match, it's time to move on. The man has no driver's license? Are you me right now? He needs to be reminded that he's getting older and his ability to find a woman willing to put up with this is getting smaller and smaller. JFC.
She might even manage to get both words out before he starts sighing and rolling his eyes.
For some reason over the past couple of decades we decided that everything could be talked out, and we were wrong. No amount of communication makes a toxic relationship work.
You are being used. He doesn't care about you, only what you give him. Money, transportation, etc. He only claims to care about you because otherwise he'll have to be a grown-up and take care of himself. Stop. Just stop doing those things. Take charge of your own life and walk away.
I'm sorry, honey, but it sounds like he's using you, not loving you. If he's wholly depending on you for things like transportation, emotional support, etc., and doesn't even have the decency to reciprocate your kindness with the patience to listen more than a minute to you talk, he's and manipulating you into believing change. This is done to make you stay with the bare minimum of effort. When you bring this up with him, and he says listen more and be more patient and attentive to you, does he usually do well for a day or so, and then reverts back to old habits? And seems oblivious that he did so? And you rinse and repeat the same conversation, to his growing irritation, because he feels you're being repetitive and exhausting? I was in a marriage like this for years. No amount of talking nicely, meanly, or anything in between got through to him.
No counselor or mediator could help, because he would give the same lip service to them and then we'd go home to the exact same dynamic. He didn't work on anything the therapist told him to do, but became hypercritical if I didn't approach him with the utmost patience and kindness with my concerns regarding his inaction. It took me getting cancer for him to completely disengage with me, and we divorced at his initiative during my treatment. Here's what I learned from years of trauma work. After he left, he did not respect me. He never did. I was beneath him, and I was not valued beyond what I could do to benefit him. I was like a toy he could pick up, play with, and put down at his pleasure. I was not a full human to him. Please, save yourself more grief, tears, and pain. And leave this man. He does not respect you, although you are wholly worthy of respect. You are a human being with your own indomitable will, and not just a doll or an emotional support animal for some man. Soon after my ex left, I met a guy who stayed with me in the hospital as I healed, held me when I was nauseated from chemo, and listened to my concerns and modified his behavior when his actions occasionally hurt my feelings. I've felt more love in my 40s than I did in my 20s and 30s with my ex. There is a happy path for you, but you are the only one who can walk it. He doesn't want to walk with you, but you can find someone who wants to join you in your journey as your equal and helpmate. Sending you all the love and courage, dear heart. You are destined for more than this.